Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, January 9th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's in open in about 9 minutes. So I'm gonna go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a couple things here to update and we should be good to go. All right, it's good. It's good. A few more things right here. And it looks like we are good to go. All right, so let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium, and we'll be on our way. All right, Zoom link sent out. All right, so as people join in, I'm gonna go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here on the daily chart. One right there, there. Let's go down to the 8-hour. Down to the 4-hour. Going down to the 2-hour. Going down to the 1-hour. Down to the 30-minute. Close red. Going down to the 15-minute. Down to the 10-minute. And that's about it. All right, so we got all liquidity here marked up. Closest level of liquidity above is going to be over here at 37,806. So that's going to be the closest level above. Closest level below is going to be right here. This might get hit pre-market, but we'll see. That's pretty much it. All right, so we got liquidity here marked up. Going over here to our clean chart, I'm going to mark up 6:30. It's right there. Mark up 8 o'clock. I'm going to see if there's any structure here on the 4-hour time frame. All right, so we got a 4-hour resistance right here. It's a little far from current price. 4-hour support down here. Go down to the 1-hour. No structure. So with price currently right here in the middle, there's not really much structure here, which is actually a good thing. I like when it's not too close to the 4-hour and 1-hour structure because there's going to be space for price to move. As price moves on, we'll mark up structure here on the 1 minute as price continues to move when market opens. Other than that, let's see, retail sentiment is currently 80% short. This indicates that 80% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you typically want to do the opposite and buy. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently down 227 points. So it's pretty bearish with regard to fundamentals, and it's pretty bullish with regard to retail sentiment. So with that said, it's a pretty much mixed market for today. There's not really much of a strong bias. We'll kind of see what happens when the market opens, and we'll go from there. Looking over here, we had news at 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5:30, and 6. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5:30, 5:55, and 6. Let me go and put that up real quick. So it's a lot of different times to mark up. So let's see, we had 2 o'clock over here. I'm just going to review that again. 2 o'clock, 5, 2, 3, 5:30, 5:55. 2 o'clock. I don't know what's up with this weird news. Usually we don't have random news like this in like early times, but it's been like that lately. 5:30, 5:55, and 6. $5:30, 5:55, and 6 o'clock. And then we have one more news event at 7 o'clock, which is medium impact. All right, so we got that marked up right there. Let me go to our main chart. So again, that was 2, 3, 5:30, 5:55, 6. All right, so 2 o'clock. 3 o'clock. 5:30. 5:55, and 6 o'clock. Six o'clock, and we have more news at 7 o'clock down here. All right, I think that's pretty much it. So news at 2, 3, 5:30, 5:55, and 6 o'clock. All right, guys, everything's pretty much marked up. Looks like we are good to go. Market is going to open in about 50 seconds. So good morning, everybody. Today is Tuesday, January 9th. It is 6:29 right now. Market's opening in about 30 seconds. Pretty much got everything marked up here. There's not much structure close to current price. We'll mark up structure when price continues to move along here on open. Looking over here on the technicals, everything's been pretty much bearish. You can see over here on the 5-minute time frame that price is pretty much bearish all London session. So what we'll do is if price does climb back up, we'll mark 1-minute structures on the liquidity, and we'll continue to follow it. So for the most part, price looks pretty bearish overall. Not super bearish, but bearish overall. Retail sentiment is still super bullish. So it's going to be a bit of a mixed market, which is completely fine. We don't really mind that because we don't care about, where price is really going. We're going to trade wherever price moves. So, all right, we got market open right here. I'm not going to take anything obviously right away. I'm going to wait for price to kind of stabilize a little bit. But here is opening price. You guys can see the crazy candle. As always, you guys should probably wait for market to stabilize a little bit before you start looking for any entries. So there goes opening price right there. Price right there. Clean chart. Price right there. So the lower liquidity already got hit, guys. I don't know if anybody took it, but lower liquidity right here got hit pre-market, went straight to TP. So if anybody caught that, that was the first move that played out. Other than that, there's nothing else right now coming up just yet. We have a pending sell signal here, so there may be a possibility of a breakout version 3 or a breakout version 2 or a breakout version 1. There's a lot of different opportunities here that are still coming up. They're just not there yet, but they are they're building up to it. So all right, let's see what's going on over here. Dudes here so far. Morning, Eunice. Morning, Shannon. Morning, Nick. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Johnny. Morning, everybody. So, guys, market is in full swing. Price is still dropping down further. That pending sell signal kind of disappeared for a little bit. And again, we're just waiting for something here to play through. We have a sell signal here that's currently pending. And it's still dumping down pretty far. If you guys want to take this as a breakout version 1, I don't highly recommend it because it's touching the sessions right here, which is an obvious red flag. The signal didn't close, so there's no entry there. Let's see, Nick said CNBC just reported stocks falling. It'll probably reject back up super hard. Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well. So breaking news over here, it says stocks fall Tuesday as Wall Street resumes 2024 slide. And usually when CNBC reports something like this, expect to swing back to the upside. So yeah, I can see that. So guys, just a reminder, if you guys didn't attend the mentoring session yesterday, the mentoring session yesterday was pretty in-depth. I mentioned that the 2 main entries that I'll be looking for during these live sessions for my official trades will be the breakout version 3 continuation and the V1 variation. But I'll be looking for certain confluences before I take those entries. So not taking every single entry. If you guys want to review that, we went pretty much in detail with a lot of examples showing which types of entries are more likely to be official entries that I take versus entries that just come up. Because as you guys will see during that mentoring session, there's like 10 or 12 entries or 20 entries that come up with multiple different strategies. But it's really key identifying, what's quality and what's not, because there's going to be a bunch of entries that come up. A lot of them will hit, a lot of them will lose. But if you focus on what's quality, then you'll have a pretty good win rate and you'll continue to just stack up wins along the way. So, we did the math. We looked pretty much to a lot of trades throughout the day, and it shows that there's at least like 2 solid entries that come up at least every single day, at least 1 or 2 solid entries. And if you just focus on those 2 solid entries, your profitability will just increase every single day as long as you avoid any unnecessary losses. So, all right, guys, we're still looking for some entries here. Nothing to come up yet. Price just keeps bouncing back and forth. I don't think there's structure here yet. So it looks like there may be structure right here for a 1-minute support level, but it looks like it might just disappear in a few. So I'm gonna leave this alone right now. I'm gonna drop structure once, it's actually been established. Let's see. So Andrew said that V1 sell off the lower low. Was there a V1 here? I'm looking for that though. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for, Andrew. I'm looking for a V1 for a sell off any like low or off any high actually. So basically right here, price is currently bearish. So what I'm personally looking for is I'm looking for price to come down, establish a high, come down lower, come back, and then come back down. If I get a V1 right here and it lines up with structure, then I'm going to be taking that back to the downside. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But again, you want to be a little patient here, be a little careful because price is right at the sessions. Again, if price ever touches the sessions and you have an entry at that point, I highly recommend not taking it. I don't take any trades that touch the sessions or that have to touch the sessions. So it's going to be a bit of a mess. So again, guys, we were going to continue following this here and see if there's anything that we can take moving forward. I don't think there's any other liquidity right here. Is there liquidity below? Yeah, so there's actually liquidity below, but it's not super close. New structure again right here. I'll draw the structure once it's been established. Or actually, it looks like it might be established at this point. It's past about see 4 candles now. So I'll draw this right here as structure. And we'll mark this up as 1-minute support level. We'll come back and see if we need to make some adjustments, but it looks like that support is starting to be established there. Hey, Frederick, how's it going? All right, so other than that, we have nothing else here to take. It's just, it's a matter of patience here. So just because I'm focusing on 2 main strategies, guys, doesn't mean I'm not going to call out anything else, right? So we still have the high-low scalp chart right here. I think the high-low scalp is still a good strategy. It's just not one that I necessarily look at very often because, the volatility is kind of crazy right now. As you guys can see, it's kind of back and forth. And the high-low scalp version too is not good when market is going sideways anyways. So right here, if market is going sideways, it's not really a good time to take these high-low scalps. So in this situation, I'll be looking for some V1 variations in a certain direction, specifically for sells here. Because that's kind of what we discovered, that, the V1s work very well as long as you use my confluence when market is going sideways. So that's a good thing, because now we have a strategy that works well when price is going sideways, and then the breakout V3 continuations are going to be good when price is moving directional. So it's always good to have, two solid strategies for two very common market structures: consolidation range for V1s, and then directional breakout V3 continuations. But all right, guys, there's still nothing for us to take here. Again, it's just a waiting game. We're waiting for something here to play through, but again, there's nothing here yet. And you can see where price is being manipulated around this red line, which is the London high. Again, another reminder why we don't trade at sessions, because you don't want to be caught in a trade going back and forth like this. You also don't want to get faked out. Hey, Brock, good to see you here. All right, so we have a sell signal here that is currently pending. This is not going to meet my confluence that I mentioned before, because we need to have a V1 pattern here kind of pushing price down. We don't have that yet. So if this does come up, I'll mark it up as an entry, but I'm not going to be looking to take it just yet. Just not yet. That's the only thing coming up right now. We have a sell signal coming or pending. I don't know if it'll actually close, but if it does close, this could set up for a breakout V3 continuation. All right, so price here is still bouncing back and forth. Nothing here. Back to our clean chart. As you can see, the 1 minute support level is now established, and we will see what happens here. Let's see. Nick said, also not a bad 1 minute pivot scalp, but the trend really hasn't been set yet, so it's iffy. Yeah, the trend here is pretty bearish, but I think the biggest problem here, Nick, would be the sessions. So, of course, if price pushes below the sessions and then you get the sell signal down here, then I think that'd be a decent, 1 minute pivot scalp. But again, even for the 1 minute pivot scalp, I would look for that V1 variation pattern. So I'd look for like a double body or double wick off the high, and then that would give me a confluence that, price is likely to continue dropping. So for me personally, I like to have a confluence, because, pretty much majority of these strategies, they're pretty good. So these strategies in general are like 60 to 65% win rate from our testing long term. So like year-long testing or a year's long testing, it has about a 60 to 65% win-loss ratio. When you include a confluence like a V1 pattern, or you look for structure, then it increases to like a 70 to 75. If you have more confluences like a trend here, then it increases even higher to like maybe 80% to 85%. So the more confluences you have, the higher probability of the trade actually playing through. So again, right here, you can see there's a sell signal, but you can see how it's getting faked out right here at the sessions. And this is exactly why you don't want to take any trades around this area. Nick said, maybe I'm just so used to Tuesday, they never trusted the initial trend. Well, that's because Tuesday is Trap Tuesday, Nick. That's why. There's a lot of traps that get set up on Tuesday. So again, right here, guys, there's a breakout V3 that's setting up. If this closes red, this will be a breakout V3, but it's touching the sessions. So I wouldn't take this trade here, because it touched the sessions right there. If it didn't touch the sessions, I would have been okay with it. But since this here touched the sessions, this is considered risky in my opinion. So I wouldn't take this trade. I don't really recommend taking it, but it is a breakout V3 continuation. And it's actually a regular breakout V3 that's currently running too. So it's a regular breakout V3, but it's also a breakout V3 continuation. The only problem here is that it's touching the sessions. So it's pretty much it's on manipulation. Nick said that his closed green on TradingView, because it should be red. If you're on If you're on CBOT, then which data are you using, Nick? You're probably not using the futures data then, if that's the case. Oh, of course, you have to using Apex. That's weird. Yeah, well, either way, I wouldn't have taken this here because this here would have closed like it would have closed too small. So like if you guys attended the mentoring session yesterday, I think Nikki asked this question. She said, do you wait? If the candle closes red or if it's really weak, would you still take it? And I said that during live sessions, it's going to be almost impossible to catch this, right? Because like, for example, here, it closed red for me, but then it closed green for Nick, which is very unusual. So under real market conditions, if the candle ever closes like this super small, you're probably going to miss the trade. Like for example, right here, I would have missed this trade completely because I wouldn't be able to tell if it was red or green. And also it was touching the sessions. So if you were taking this as a breakout V3 continuation, it already hit full TP right there. That's the continuation. And for the original breakout V3, it's still currently running. Breakout V3 has a bigger TP stop loss. It's 30-30. The continuation has a 10-30 split. So just depends on, which one you plan on using or applying. But for the most part, the first level has already been hit. So breakout V3 continuation, full TP right there. And the original breakout version 3 is still currently running. TP is going to be down here. I'm not in any of these positions. I know it hit, but I'm not going to count it as a win for me because I didn't take the trade. The only trades that count under the official trades are going to be the ones that I take myself. So I didn't feel comfortable with this mainly because it was touching the sessions. And that's just, that's me being overly cautious in a good way. Because I'm only the only trades that I'm going to take are going to be the ones that I'm almost like 100% sure are going to hit. So, all right. And again, right here, price pretty much faked out a bit. Okay, so looking over here real quick at the structure, this structure is no longer there. Pretty much got pushed down lower. So the support level is now down here, but it's going to keep pushing down lower. So I'll continue to establish the low once we have that there, but it hasn't been established yet. It just keeps pushing down lower and lower. Let's see. So Nick's over here closed green. That's really unusual, Nick. That's it's kind of shocking to me. I've never seen that happen before. Yeah, so Nick wasn't kidding. His thing actually did close green, which is very, very unusual in my opinion. That's crazy. I've never seen that before happen on TradingView. Yeah, Patricia's here closed green too. So just be careful. I mean, it's okay because in a situation like this, you just wouldn't even tell if it's green or red because it happens so quickly. But okay, guys, full TP on the breakout version 3. If you guys took it, nice work. If you guys didn't take it, it's completely fine. I didn't take it myself. But full TP here. So, being 100% transparent, you guys, full TP, smooth move right here for breakout V3, but I'm not going to count it for our wins. So this isn't going to count as a win, even though it did hit and we were looking at it. The reason why I'm not counting it is because I didn't take it myself. The only trades that get added to our spreadsheet here, so you guys saw all of our trades from 2023, the only trades that get added on here are the ones that I actually take myself. So if I take myself and, we actually say, okay, we're going to take this trade and this is going to be official, then we count it. But this one over here, even though it went to full TP, I told you guys I wasn't taking it because it was at a red flag, the sessions. So no trade there, no official trade, but it seems like a lot of you guys here did take that trade. So looking at everyone's profits over here, looks like Kenny took it. So Kenny took the breakout version 3, total profit of 2,360 for the day, all wins. Nice work, Kenny. We have Craig over here, total profit of 8,535 for this morning. Nice work, Craig. And secondly, we have Eunice over here with a total profit of 367 off that breakout V3. Nice work, Eunice. Yeah, Eunice took it for a partial, filled his order, came down, and he pulled out as soon as he made some profit. So great work right there, Eunice. All right, guys, so back to our analysis here. This here was also, so this was also a It could have been a high-low scalp too if it would have counted this as the low, but it's all good. Price is super low right now. So we are going to see where this is at. Yeah, exactly. Next to confluences were bonk. Yeah, there was no confluences anyway, so I wouldn't have taken it. It looks like liquidity down below also got hit. So looking at liquidity down here, the lower level of liquidity right here just got pushed through and already went straight to full TP. So if anybody caught the liquidity right here, there was a lower level liquidity at this red line. Pretty much got hit, and it is now bouncing back up for retracement. So I'll come back here. If price decides to climb back up, I'll mark up level 1 liquidity on the lower levels, and we'll see if we can maybe catch something on the way back down, because everything here is super bearish right now. So price might continue dropping, but then again, you don't want to be too focused on one side because price can easily just swing right back up from where it's currently at. Let's see, Nick said 37,582 is the opening price for New York session yesterday. Watch out for that area. I've noticed rejections recently at those areas, even the day after. Yeah, no, definitely, Nick. A couple months ago when price was kind of just consolidating and ranging in one area, I pretty much marked up all of the opening prices for like the previous week, and it just kept coming back to those price points. So I think right here, as price decides to come back down, it's going to turn into a big range, right? Because it already hit all-time highs and now it's coming back down lower. So if you look on the higher time frames, like say the daily time frame, you'll see here that prices now are just ranging between this area. Right, price has pretty much been ranging since December 18th. Hit an all-time high, now it's just going back and forth, which is completely fine. It's not a big deal. It doesn't really matter to us because we're trading, within this time frame or this time period. So not a huge deal, but yeah, it's good to know moving, throughout the week as long as price continues to range, unless price breaks out and then it starts to climb even higher, which I mean could be the case too. It's Trap Tuesday, so you don't want to get caught in these fake outs. All right, so we got a lower level right here. There's no V1 pattern yet, so I don't have that confluence that I'm looking for, but we'll see. So I actually don't mind if price starts to range around this area, because if it starts to range, then I'll look for that V1 pattern. It's just going to be a bit of patience and discipline here, just waiting. Let's see, Nick said, I'm thinking it's going to end up catching some volatility towards the upside before our live session ends. Yeah, and I agree too, Nick. It's probably going to correct back up and go back to open. Probably come back up here, get manipulated a little bit, come back up, and come back down. Right, you've seen this pattern before. Back to open. Yeah, exactly. Nick said Rick's back to open strat. I mean, so here's the thing. If you were to see a V1 pattern, so for example, if I saw a V1 pattern and it was rejecting off structure, and then you had a breakout V3 continuation, then I could see that actually pushing up to open, right? That's actually a good pattern. I think if you went back and you kind of back tested it, or you just kind of reviewed like previous days for a pattern like that, I think that would be a key thing to look at, because the initial move would be the reversal, right? The reversal is going to be a V1 pattern, so double body, double wick, and then you see the breakout V3 continuation. That's just a continuation of the move. So you get that big push, and then it's probably going to go up to that area. If Rick knew this back then, it'd probably be a lot better, because then there wouldn't be any gambling aspect behind it. You have some sort of strategy for back to open. So, I mean, if anybody still likes those back to open strategies, that's something that you guys could probably look for. Look for a V1 pattern. That's going to be the first step, because that first step will indicate a reversal, and then look for a breakout V3 continuation, because that'll be the continuing move. And then that can pretty much ride all the way back to open. Yeah, because that theory it's a good theory. Back to open is a good theory. It's just you'd have to have some sort of strategy to take it back to open, right? You can't just ride it back to open just because you think price is going to climb back up, because if you do that, you get caught in these fake outs. Price pushes up, comes right back down, right? So yeah, I mean, if there's a, yeah, exactly. Some people just live for the gambling aspect. Some people like that rush. It's a little vice that a lot of people have. Um, yeah, gambling is trading is basically like gambling, but the thing is we trade like we're the house, like we have a house edge. So the thing with trading is like you can take any trade, right? You can take any sell and you can get lucky. You can take any buy and you can get lucky. The only thing here is that we're trading with strategy, so we have an edge in the market. Like we'll see price go up and we won't chase it. We'll see price go down, we won't chase it. The only time we'll take it is if our qualities and quantities are met with regard to our criteria, because that gives you the upper hand. It gives you the house edge. So, I mean, you guys have done it before. I'm sure you guys have taken a lot of random entries for a buy. You get lucky, you hit your TP. You take random entries for a sell, you get lucky, you hit your TP. The real skill with trading is understanding when not to trade and preventing losses. Because I think that's where a lot of people get caught up on. They get too caught up on winning that when they go down a losing streak, they just blow their account. With us here, we're doing the opposite. We're actually looking to not trade so that when that actual good entry comes up, we can take it. So, all right, we might have a V1 pattern here, but there's no high because there's a high right here already. So I think this is going to be a bit of a range, which is completely fine. The reason why I'm okay with this range right here is because we have structure. As long as price doesn't pass this structure, then I'm cool, right? I want price to kind of just go around this area here, provide me a V1 somewhere. And then once I get that V1 right here, or wherever it may be, I'll take that for a sell. And we also have news right here at 7. Thanks, Nick, for bringing that up. Now we're probably not going to have any entry because it's just too close to news right here. 7:53 or 6:53. There's always going to be little traps being set up. So let's see. Camo said V3 buy. So there's no V3 buy here because the buy signal, the buy candle didn't come up after the green candle didn't come up after the buy signal. Also, I wouldn't have taken a camo because there's no V1 pattern right here. So I need that V1 pattern to confirm the confluence that I typically look for. Since it wasn't right there, I wouldn't have taken it. But if it was there, so if it was there, I would have taken it, but it wasn't. So even if it did close, I wouldn't have taken it myself. Not to say that it wouldn't hit, but I want to be for sure. I want to take a trade only if I'm like absolutely certain it's going to play through. All right, we have a new high right here. Looks like price is going to start to consolidate range here a little bit. Let's see the news at 7 o'clock. So the news over here at 7 o'clock is going to be the RCM TIPP Economic Optimism Index. So some inflation news right there. We had inflation rate come out 6 o'clock. Now we have a follow-up right here. And yeah, we'll see. It's supposed to be positive news, but we'll see. Let's see. Camo said he's so mad that it was the sell a session to sessions. I know, same here, Camo. If this here wasn't touching the sessions, I would have for sure taken that trade. Or maybe not for sure, but I would have been very inclined to take it for at least 100 pips. Because this is the original breakout. Like this is the actual breakout. It's a bigger move. So if you just go for a partial 100 pips, odds of it hitting are very likely. So there's a momentum counter scalp that came up right here. I don't know if anybody identified that or spotted it, but there's a sell signal here, 2 green candles right here. And there was a momentum counter scalp that actually came up right here. It already hit CP, I believe. So you can see there's a lot of entries that come up. There's a momentum counter scalp that came up right there. And then again, right here, momentum counter scalp continuation, buy signal, 2 red candles. Same situation again right there. Another momentum counter scalp. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it, but came up right there. So, I mean, there's a ton of entries. Like I mentioned during the mentoring session, and I mention every day, if you guys know any of my strategies, there's a lot of strategies that come up. There's a ton of entries that come up throughout the day. I'd say at least over 20 entries that come up. It's just really it's nitpicking the good entries from the bad ones, or not necessarily the bad ones, but you're nitpicking the good entries from the risky ones. Because it's not, I feel like that's the hardest part about trading. It's like being able to follow your trading plan. My trading plan is to follow V1 variations and breakout V3 continuations. We don't have that yet. So, again, it's a waiting game for the most part. We got news over here in about 3 minutes, guys. So I'm not looking to take any entries anytime soon. As you guys know, news can cause price to spike. It's medium impact news, so I'm not going to mess with it. If it was low impact, I might have been okay with just maybe getting a trade if it came up, if it was a really good trade. But for the most part, the news over here is medium impact. So we're going to expect some sort of reaction to the market, or the market's going to react some way to the news. We have a possible breakout V3 continuation setting up right here. It's a pending sell signal. So what I'm hoping that happens here is I'm hoping that the news is positive. It pushes price up slightly, rejects back down, and continues back down. So this is kind of what I'm looking for here. I want price to come back down or push up first and then come back down. Basically what I'm looking for here. There was a momentum pullback scalp that came up right here. Not one that I would necessarily take, but for the most part, there was one that came up right here. I wouldn't have taken it because price was overextended. You measure it from this lower high right here down to this point, it's down over 1,000 pips. So I wouldn't have messed with it. Let's see, Alan said 76% short for retail sentiment. Have not seen a number that low in ages. Yeah, it's been pretty low for just for the past week or so, but yeah, it hasn't been that low in a while. I think this week it's been around 80%, but I think it's going to start to stabilize and balance out as the year progresses. It kind of just went really heavy sided during the holidays, which is normal. It usually does that between November and December. And now that we're in January, it's going to start to kind of level out. So I know it's currently a little high, 76. It was actually at 80 this morning. So it went from 80 to 76. And then as you progress towards February, it's probably going to go down to like 70. And then it'll balance out a little bit. All right, so we have a V1 pattern right here. It doesn't meet my criteria though. So I'm actually hoping this pushes up higher. I want it to push up a little bit higher. The only problem again right here is that it's right at news. So this is kind of what makes it suck a bit, because it's not going to meet my criteria again right here. Even if we get a V1 pattern right here, I'm not going to take it because it's right at news. But this is the pattern that I'm actually looking for. So let's see what happens here. So if you get a double body or double wick rejection off this right here, then this would technically be what I was looking for. Yeah, so like if this here closes as a red candle, this would be a double body rejection off this structure here. And it would be one that I'd be looking to take maybe, but because it's the news candle, I wouldn't have taken anything there. All right, so the news here still hasn't updated. Come back to that in a few. But let me go ahead and just take this off. Markup news price. For our second chart, market news price. Yeah, there's nothing here for us to take. All right, so again, we are waiting. So what I'll do here is I'll go to our liquidity chart. I'm gonna move this over a little bit. I'm gonna clean this up right here because we already used these liquidity points. I'm gonna mark up these levels right here as 1 minute liquidity. So here's the thing that you guys want to look for. If you guys are looking to take this liquidity down here, this would be a liquidity zone on the 1 minute. So if price touches this middle area right here, expect it to drop further and probably come down and touch the next level of liquidity down there. Let's see, question from Kenny. Kenny's asking, would that be the V1 variation at 653 you talked about yesterday in the mentoring session? So let's see, 653. So there's actually no V1 right here. Kenny. I mean, it's a double body, but it's not a V1 because this candle right here was higher. So if you replay it to that candle right there, there's no V1. If this was the high point, then yeah, that would be the criteria. So if there was a high right here, then yeah, that would meet criteria. But since there was a high right here, there's no V1 at this point. But that's basically what you're looking for. You're looking for a V1, no, V1 actual entry off structure. You take that for a sell, and then you write it down, of course. So yeah, that's a pattern you're looking for. But because this high right here was higher, there was no pattern here for there was no actual V1. That's pretty much what you're looking for. I mean, that's okay. So here's a good thing. We have a V1 pattern right here. So we have our V1 pattern. Now I'm looking for a breakout V3 continuation. If I get that, I'm gonna look for a buy. I'll take that for a quick 100 pips. So now I just gotta wait for that sell signal. Let's check the news real quick. I don't understand why the news here isn't loading. They haven't even uploaded the inflation rate from earlier. Let me just refresh it here on Forex Factory. Today's the 9th. Okay, so the news was positive. It was actually very positive. They were forecasting to be 42, is actually 44. Trade balance this morning, mixed. All right. So the news was positive. Price did push up already, so it's pretty much did its move. Not a big push, but it did push up slightly. That's about it. Let's see. Purity's asking, I wonder why on my chart the candle didn't break past the pivots too, but yours did. For the high level momentum. There's no high level momentum here because you need a sell signal, Purity. But yeah, I mean the candles did break past it because you need a. You're talking about this one. Which one earlier? Because these all broke past the pivots 1 and 2. This broke past pivots 1 and 2. This one broke past pivots 1 and 2. This one broke past pivots 1 and 2. There's like 3 different entries here that came up or that actually showed up. This is lower low, came up. This right here came down. This one right here as well. It might be because of your data. So I'm not sure what data you're using. If you're using YM1, which is the data that we're using here for futures. If you're using the same one, then it should have the same. But it seems like today there's been a couple issues. Like Nick over here and Patricia, their candle over here didn't close red. Their candle over here actually closed green, which is super unusual. I've never seen that happen before. So I'm not sure if you're using this as your data or if you're using a different data set. Looks like you're on the data here. Same. Yeah, I'm not sure. Your candles look kind of different though. I don't know. I can't really tell. Yeah, I'm not sure because yours look like very off, unless you just color them differently. So these are pivots 1 and 2. I'm not sure if you colored your pivots a different color, but it looks like very off because these candles didn't even get to the yellow up here. All right, so we might get a triple confluence right here, guys. So we have a sell signal that's currently pending. We're looking for a red candle to follow it. All right, so the sell signal actually didn't close, guys, unfortunately. Again, we're just waiting for this here to close. Man, this market sucks. The market here is playing games, but this is this is pretty much normal. It's It's normal for a Tuesday. It's trap Tuesday. So I mean the market does suck, but that's typical for a Tuesday. Nice. So Brock actually took the liquidity. So if you guys remember the liquidity I marked up over here, Brock actually took it and he's writing it down. So nice work, Brock, on catching that there. But again, I'm going to continue waiting for this to play through. But yeah, Purity, back to like what we were just talking about. I don't know, your candles look way different compared to mine. Like I think your settings might be, it just doesn't look proper at all because yours is like, price has been above pivots 1 and 2 for a while now. And it shows here that yours aren't even close to it. So I don't know, like, if you change your settings or anything like that, but your candles look way different. Like, I think there's something different with your settings, or you're probably looking at the wrong pivot. Anyways, guys, back over here. So we have a possible breakout V3 continuation that is setting up. We have a sell signal here that's closed. And yeah, if we get a red candle following it, this will be a breakout V3 continuation. We have the V1 pattern here as a confluence. So we just need this here to close red. It's not really looking like it's closing red, but we'll see how it closes here in the next few seconds. So no red candle there. Unfortunately, no entry for the breakout version 3. Now we reset and we're back to where we started. So, all right, guys, back to looking for another setup. So it's all good. It's a typical Trap Tuesday, guys. Like I don't know what else to say. It's just this typical Trap Tuesday. The trap just got set up right here. You can see, I can tell if people got suckered into this position, they would have got trapped because price spiked all the way up, right? So it's very important that you guys wait for the candles to close because Trap Tuesday is Trap Tuesday. Like this is we've traded so many Trap Tuesdays over the years that this isn't something new to us. Like we're typically familiar with this type of movement. So again, we're just gonna wait. There's no need to force any trades. You just gotta wait for the setup to come to you. The setup's gonna come. It's just a matter of time until it does. Kenny's asking that's a setup. There's no setup right here, Kenny, because you're looking at the nearest low. Nearest low is right here. The entry was down here. You're not looking at this one right here. You're looking at this one. So no setup right there. You just want to look at the closest one. So because you're looking for the double bottom. If you're looking at this one over here, then this low level has already been broken. So it pretty much goes like outside the means of price action because price already broke the structure. So this would just be a fake out at this point. But you're looking for price action to double bottom off this point here. So no entry there, Kenny, or no setup at all. And it's set up for this trap perfectly. So you guys, here, let me show you guys the trap. So here's a trap over here being a high-low scalp, right? So this could have been a high-low scalp right here where price came down. And then people who started to chase this here because price broke structure, it faked out and pushed all the way back up. It's pretty much the same setup that we've seen on Trap Tuesdays. You'll see something that looks nice, like price is going to break structure and continue dropping, and then it just fakes out and goes straight up. And that's typical. I don't know like how Trap Tuesday even came about, but we just started calling it Trap Tuesday like a couple years back, like maybe like 3 or 4 years back. We started calling it Trap Tuesday for fun, and it just kind of stuck because every Tuesday this happens. So Trap Tuesday is like a real thing. Yeah, it's just crazy. So there was another entry right here for a breakout V3 continuation. I personally don't like going against the trend, but this here would have been a setup. So right here was a double body. So V1 pattern right there. This right here was a V1, or sorry, a breakout V3 continuation, and it went straight to TP right there. It's just a little risky. I don't feel comfortable really trading against the trend like that if it's so far down. Like if this was farther up, like above the pivots, I would have been okay with taking it. But this right here was just a little risky on like in my opinion. So if you guys took it, looks like some of you guys here took it. So nice work there. Let's see. Yeah, Josh said on Tuesdays when we were on until like 11 a.m., the daily would always reverse on Tuesdays. Yeah, exactly, Josh. I remember that. We used to take a daily entry on the 10-minute, and the entry would come up super late. And when it came up late, it would do a reversal. So it'd be like we just wait for price to kind of go one direction, then look for it to reverse, and we would take our big breakout entry, the 1,000 pip move one. That one was those are good times. If you guys remember the original breakout, we used to take it for like 150 points. So that's 1,500 pips. It was during COVID when the volatility was super high. That strategy was so easy. We just took it once a day, and you like lock in an easy 1,000 pips. But market's different, so you can't really apply that anymore. I mean, it still works, but it's not exactly the strategy that we look to apply because the market doesn't really move that fast anymore or that heavy. Let's see. Yeah, I was looking for that V1 right there too, Maddie, but it didn't set up right here. Let's see, Camel said he skipped it after it triggered, after his setup triggered before open, and he's kind of done for the day. Yeah. Randy said, wasn't there a double body V1 confluence? Yeah, there was, Randy. That's exactly what I drew up earlier. So that's why I drew this right here, and I said there was a breakout V3 with the V1 confluence. So that's the reason why some people took the trade. I didn't want to take the trade because I wasn't comfortable with trading against the trend so heavy, because the trend's obviously like very strong for a sell here. So I don't want to go against it. Again, that's where discretion comes into play, right? I would consider it kind of risky because obviously everything here is super bearish. So I wouldn't want to go against the trend that's strong. The trend's super strong, and then also the fundamentals here are very strong. The bias is pretty strong for a sell right now. And the sentiment here is dropping heavily. This was at 80%, it's now at 74. So I just didn't feel comfortable taking an opposite trade. But that did meet criteria, Randy, for the breakout V3 continuation with the confluence. So, all right, again, we're just waiting for some sort of opportunity here. Hasn't come up yet, but we are waiting for it. So let me mark up structure here. We have I'll drop the first levels just so that you guys can see the fake out points. All right, so you guys can see price is ranging between this area right here, and it's faking out on both ends. Price comes up, comes down, comes up, comes down, comes up. Fake out up here, fake out down here. Again, I'm just waiting for this opportunity to come up. The trade's going to come up. It's just a matter of time. It's just waiting for that entry to come up. There was one entry here that we could have possibly taken, but we missed it. Well, I missed it personally because I didn't like the way that it was currently moving. So this was probably the first solid entry that would have came up. All the qualities here were met. Breakout V3 with a V1 pattern. Again, right here, I'm looking for the same thing, but in the opposite direction. So the thing, Kenny, right here, so Kenny mentioned this over here as being a V1 pattern. The thing that you want to keep in mind, Kenny, is because I know you don't have the indicators, so you don't see these high lows here. I built the strategy based off the indicators because the indicators give us more of a concrete look at where the highs are. I know this here would have looked like a high to you, but I wouldn't consider that a high because there would have been no label there. The label would have been right here, and the next label would have been right here. So there was never any high at this point. So just keep that in mind. I know, like, for people who don't have the indicators, they're kind of just looking for like where double bodies and double wicks appear. But just because it's a double wick and a double body doesn't necessarily mean that it's an actual high. So just keep that in mind, guys, moving forward. Because like, for example, right here, when price is ranging around this area, every time price pushes up slightly, it's going to create a new high, right? And you got to decipher which one is an actual high and which one is just a random candle. Because there's a bunch of I'm pretty sure like a lot of people can identify this. Like people would think this is a high right here, right? The price came up, came back down. But since we don't have that, when there's no label there, we know that this is the actual high up here. But now price is starting to push to the upside, and we'll see where this ends up going. It's okay if price pushes up higher because price will be past the sessions. I just want price to be away from this area right here. So I'm okay with price pushing higher. I'll start looking for buys up here, or if price decides to come back down, that's completely fine too. I'll take sells down here, but I just don't want to be trading anywhere near the session right here, which is the London high. So again, we are just waiting for any opportunity that can show up here. There's just nothing for us to take at the moment, but I do have faith that it's going to come up eventually. It's just going to be a matter of time until it does. And you just got to be ready for that entry as soon as it appears, because you don't want to miss it. If you take your eyes off the chart for a little bit, it'll be easy for you guys to miss it. But anyways, here's the liquidity right here that I marked out for you guys. So if you guys took that there, it was a quick little move. It was straight to TP right there. I think Brock caught it. He's probably the only person that caught it. But you guys can see the markup that I drew right there, the green lines. Doesn't matter if you take it in the middle, take it at the top. This is our original liquidity push that I used to apply a very long time ago. Nice, Sisu caught it too. So nice work, Sisu. All right, we'll continue looking for anything here, really. Let me scroll up real quick, see if there's any structure. So here's the good thing. If price pushes up higher, there's no other structure in between here aside from opening price. So we'll have a good amount of space here to take some buys if price continues to climb up higher. Vice versa, if price decides to come back down, that's fine too, because there's no sessions down here. So I don't really care where price goes. Price can go up. I'll look for some buys. Price can go down. I'll look for some sells, right? So I'm just waiting here for something to come up, but at this moment, there's nothing here at the moment. So again, we're just gonna wait. Just gonna wait and see for what's to come. Let's see, Sisu said it was a pretty good call. There was some confluence there. It met with probability that I was looking for as confirmation. Yeah, no, definitely Sisu. Definitely. But again, we are waiting for something here to come up. So we're getting this bullish push. The bullish push is going to turn into consolidation, which is fine. Typical trap Tuesday. I was hoping I could get at least one trade before 7:30, but it looks like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, C6 said it's tough for you because you have a ton of juggle. Yeah, it's all good. Well, I'd rather have no trades than have any losses, right? So I think the biggest thing here is I'd rather fully analyze a trade and miss it than jump into it without really fully analyzing it and then losing a trade that could have been easily avoided. So for me personally, I'm fine with missing trades. It's not a big deal because it's not like the last trade of my life, right? I'm gonna be trading, like, if I miss a trade right now, I could wait a couple hours or a couple minutes and another trade will come up. So you guys got to keep that in mind as well. You guys have to lose that fear of missing out. I think FOMO is like the biggest problem with a lot of people. Like, you guys will see an entry, but you don't actually fully analyze it. You're just like, oh, there's a breakout V3 continuation, and you don't look for the confluence and you don't look for the sessions or the red flags. And then you end up entering the trade and then you end up losing the trade. And then you're all mad because you're like, oh, I should have skipped that. You guys have to be okay with missing a trade. I feel like that's and like what Sisu said, we're only on Tuesday. We have 3 more days to trade. That's a big thing, right? Because I feel like a lot of people want to take like as many trades a day, and they take a lot of risky trades, or they take trades that aren't fully analyzed, and then they end up being in a hole early in the week, which is like the worst feeling. Like, I think the worst feeling for trading is like when you eat losses on a Monday and then you spend the entire week trying to recoup your losses. when you could have just like not taken any trades on Monday, right? Like for me yesterday, my MC4 is screwed up, so I couldn't take any trades. I missed the trade, but I didn't try to go and fix my MC4 and go on a random like go all crazy trying to fix my MC4 so that I can start taking trades. I was okay with taking no trades yesterday. I was just happy to see a lot of you guys here profiting off the off the analysis. Yeah, Jonathan said he's lost so many trades and challenges due to FOMO. That's really what it is. It's FOMO. FOMO and over trading, guys. I think once you guys can just like be okay with that stuff, like not FOMOing, it's gonna make a huge difference. You're not gonna have as much profits, of course, because you're gonna miss trades here and there, but you're also not gonna have losses. So you're not gonna be spending time trying to climb your way back out of that hole. Alan is asking, is the market open on the 15th for MLK birthday? The market is closed. So just keep that in mind, guys. We've made that mistake of trading on MLK. I mean, we trade on MLK, we trade on Juneteenth, on like, and I actually lost a couple of my FTMOs. So don't trade on MLK Day, guys. Or if you do want to trade on MLK Day, make sure that you're done trading before like 8 o'clock, because the market technically closes around 8 o'clock. If you guys remember, I think it happened like 2 years ago. We were trading on, or I was trading on MLK Day. I just got FOMO that day. I saw the market was volatile and it was moving. I took a trade, and then that was when we were still taking longer trades. So I took a trade, and then the market closed at like 9 o'clock, and then I was freaking out because I was in a position I couldn't close out. Lo and behold, the next day I got an email from FTMO. They said I violated for trading over the weekend. If you trade during a holiday, it's considered a weekend trade. So keep it simple, just don't trade. And that's kind of what happened to me. Vimal says MLK Martin Luther King. Yes, that is. Yeah, because Vimal's in the UK. You guys don't celebrate MLK out there. Yeah, MLK is Martin Luther King Day. It happens in January every year on a Monday, and markets are closed. So it's a bank holiday. With it being a bank holiday, markets are technically closed. Yeah, that's like the worst feeling too. When you lose your funded account due to a technicality. It's like, man, I really lost my account because I traded on a holiday, and it was all because of FOMO. So, it goes back to what I was just saying earlier, it ties back to FOMO. So once you get over that FOMO and you're okay with missing a trade or losing it or not taking a trade, then it'll open up a lot of opportunity for profitability. All right, so we have a double body right here, guys. We have a double body for a V1 pattern. So price does push up to opening price here. We may have an opportunity for a breakout V3 continuation. The only problem here is that volatility is extremely low. As you guys can see, these candles are barely moving. And if you look at the ATR down below, it's currently at 14 right now. So this isn't going to scare me away from an entry though. So if I see a good entry come up, I'm still going to take it. The only thing here is that we need this to push up. We can't let it sit right here, right? All right, so we'll see here if it starts to push up from this point. Again, it'll be another double body right here, which is fine. And then we'll see if this pushes up higher from where it's currently at. Let's see, Kenneth said he's done for the day, got some profit on his funded. Yeah, solid work there, Kenneth. I would just wrap it up too. I mean, if you guys are okay with your profits for the day, it's okay to wrap it up. The volatility here has died down. I'm still going to sit around because I'm looking for my own entry. I haven't taken any trades yet. So I'm going to be looking for entries here, but if you guys are okay with your profits, go ahead and wrap it up. There's no need to force anything here. So we got some more profits here from Kenneth. So Kenneth over here locked in 600 for the day. He messed up on his copier, so unfortunately just one account, but it's all good, Kenneth. He still made profit. So there goes Kenneth's profits, 600 for the day. We got Andrew over here. He said got his first level of liquidity on the second touch on open. Trend was bearish since Monday, so we felt that he was comfortable with the sell. High retail total profit of 744 per account. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 accounts. So total profit of well over 6,000 for the day. Nice work, Andrew. All right. We have another V1 pattern here. So we just need price to push up. If price pushes up, great. It'll set up for a breakout V3 continuation. And we'll see where this goes. But You can see right here where price is getting manipulated right at this red line, which is the London high. So again, right here, we're just waiting for, we are just waiting for this here to set up. Let's see. So Brian is asking at the 47-minute, is this counted as a momentum pullback? Let's see. So we just discussed this earlier too, Jeff. So the reason why we wouldn't have taken this as a momentum pullback is because price is overextended. If you measure here from the high, so if you ever want to look for overextension, just look at the nearest high. So the nearest high right here, you'll just measure from this point and measure to the entry, right? This price came down right here. And then like you said, at the 47 mark, price pushed up. At this point, price was already overextended 1,117 pips, 1,170 pips. So that's a very far overextension. Whenever price pushes more than 1,000 pips, it's typically due for retracement. And that's exactly what happened over here. Price kind of retraced up and then it came back down. I mean, technically, if you wanted to take it as a high-low momentum scalp, you technically could have taken it. But I mean, personally, I wouldn't have taken it because I'm very cautious about overextension. So let's see, price pulled down right here, pulled up right here. The entry would have actually happened right here. And it looks like it would have hit. Yeah, it looks like it would have it filled immediately and went straight to TP. With with no room at all. Like you literally have to get in and out super quick. So it's a valid entry, but I personally wouldn't have bothered to look at it because of the overextension. So again, the main red flags that we look for are the sessions, opening price, news price, and overextension. Also, if the candle is too big on the initiating candle, but that doesn't necessarily apply very much with the momentum pullback scalp because the entry that you take doesn't usually happen to be a big candle. But yeah, that's the main reason why I wouldn't have taken it. And you can see right there that it was such a close entry that you literally would have to get in and out super quick, or else you'd be trapped in the position and it would pretty much just reverse on you. All right. Kenny said it still amazes me that there's so many Kennys in this group. I know there's probably I think there's 4 Kennys in here. It's crazy. Yeah. I didn't realize that there were that many until I say their name out loud. There's Kenny Scott, there's Kenny Dela Cruz, there's Kenny Hurd. There's a lot of you guys here. All right, so we got some more profits here from Gian. Gian locked in a total profit of 1,060 for the day. Nice work, Gian. Took that earlier sell. It's a full TP. Great work right there, Gian. So, all right, other than that, there's still no entries here for us, guys. We're continuing to wait for any opportunities, but again, like I mentioned, this is probably going to take some time before we can get that opportunity. So let's see. Yeah, so I don't know what's up with your... Here, let's see. Are you still in here? Purity? So Purity, are you paying for your futures data? I think that might be it. Or you might be on the wrong data because I'm looking over here, you're on a YM 2024. So I'm not sure, because your chart looks way different compared to mine. So right here where your buy signal came up, if you look over here at my buy signal, price has always been above the pivot 2. This whole area right here, it's been above pivot 2. But if you look at your chart, it was not above pivot 2 at all, right? Which is very unusual. I don't know why it's like that. Here, let me see. Maybe if I change my color back to yellow, let's see. Let's go to my pivots. I'll go back to my default settings. Yeah, see, if you look at my default settings over here, it's still above the yellow. So I don't know what's up with your chart that your chart's way different compared to mine and compared to does anybody else have that issue where, I mean, if anybody's looking at their chart right now and they have the indicators, if you guys look at this buy signal at 652, because if you look at Purity's chart, none of her candles are above the yellow line, which is my blue line. I don't know if anybody has that same issue. The only thing I can think of is one, you're not the pivots indicators messed up, but you might have changed something else on your chart because that could have been the case. Because the pivots are fine. Like my pivots are fine. Let me check your settings real quick. 813. Yeah, you're on default settings. 813, 34, 55. So I don't know if there's any way that you can pull up your chart on a regular computer, Purity. Uh, because it's hard to see on your phone. I don't know if it's just because of your phone, but if you can pull it up on an actual computer so that you can get an actual full screen picture of it. Because if you can get a full screen picture, I can probably help you with like whatever you have an issue with. But looking at your small screen right here, there's like nothing that I can really see. So if you can just pull it up on a computer, take a full screenshot of everything on your chart, just like with everything, the indicators, um, then I can try to troubleshoot it for you. But yeah, your charts look way different. Like if I was to take off my high lows here, you can see that the price was always above pivots 1 and 2 right here. Let's see, right? So that that Purity's charts were going 40 points at a time versus 510. Gotcha. I think this might be the case right here too, Purity. I think you might have like dragged this or you might have moved this too. So that's kind of what Ryan mentioned. So I don't know, that might be the case too, Ryan. That's a good point that Ryan brought up. You can see here that our candles, they're kind of split up by like just a few pips, like by 5 pips or 5 points. And yours is split up by like 40 points. So you kind of drag this, your little drawing thing over here. And but even if that was the case, I think the price should still be above the pivots. I don't know. I can't really tell for sure. But yeah, Purity, if you can pull it up on an actual computer, that could help us a lot to kind of troubleshoot what the problem is. Yeah, no problem, Purity. I'll help you as soon as I get the screenshot of that. It's just hard to see on the phone. It's so small. All right, guys. So there's no entries here just yet. Again, same situation. One thing that we could be setting up for here would be a V1 variation. So price is going back and forth. We can get a V1 variation to the upside or V1 variation to the downside. There's no V1 here, but that's kind of the first thing that we can look for. The ATR is kind of low. Thanks, Randy, for the heads up. So the ATR is low. Price is pretty much going sideways for the most part. Yeah, 734 right now. So as you guys remember, typically 730 is like my cutoff time for entries because this is usually where the market starts to die down a bit. And there's no surprise. It's the same situation as we're typically used to. Volatility starting to die down here at 730. But I'm going to hang on because I'm still looking for my entry for the day. Still looking for my opportunity to come up. The only problem here, so this is what I hate. I hate that price is stuck at the sessions because this is going to be a problem because if price ends up establishing a high right here, like I don't want it to touch the sessions, right? If we get a double top right here, I don't want it to be rejecting off the sessions. I want it to be away from the sessions. So yeah, like Maddie said this buy needs to close above the sessions here. But this is going to be a problem because this is where it's ranging from. It's like literally ranging between the sessions and news price. Yeah, Maddie said he might get a V1 off the low. Yeah, that could be the case too. So, price might come down and then opportunity down here. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said we just need to be patient. That's really what it is. It's just patience, guys. So here, let's take a look again at retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is now 75% short. This indicates that 75% of retail traders are currently still selling. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're still super bearish, down 252 points. Looking over here at the news price, news is currently, there's nothing else new, nothing else for news. We have Fed Bar speaking at 9 o'clock. So we got the Fed speaking later today. That's probably explains why the market's moving so slow because there's a Fed speech today. So a lot of people are just waiting for the Fed speech to come out to basically provide some provide some outlook for this month's market. I'm gonna mark up some more liquidity areas right here. It's kind of pointless. There's not really much there to work with. Let me see if I can mark up more structure. So there was a V1 right here, but there was no confirmation of trend. So for the V1, I'm still using some sort of bias. So I wouldn't have taken the buy right here, Maddie. But yeah, this does meet criteria that like Maddie was talking about. It meets criteria for the confluence, but for the V1, it doesn't meet criteria for the V1 because the V1 right now is the bias is currently bearish. So I wouldn't look for any bias here for any V1s. Let's take a look. So retail sentiment over here again is somewhat bullish, but it's outweighed by the fundamentals and the technical. So the fundamentals over here are still down 200 points. This is super heavy for a sell. And then also the technicals here are all bearish. So we have two confluences or two biases over outweighing the retail sentiment. So I wouldn't be really looking for any bias here for V1s. I'll look for bias for breakout continuation V3s, but I wouldn't be looking for any V1 patterns because the V1 patterns, then you're going to be counter trend trading. And I don't typically like to counter trend trade at all. So, I mean, if you guys wanted to take it, I mean, that'd be the setup right there. There's a double body rejection. It's rejecting off the structure right here. The only thing for me is that I don't feel comfortable trading against such a strong bias. If the pivots here shifted, so this is one thing, Maddie. If this red pivot right here was below all the other pivots, then I would have been kind of okay with taking it, right? Because then you can start to see a shift to the upside. But since we didn't have the pivots there, I mean, it was still kind of bearish at this time. That's why I wouldn't necessarily want to take it. Like right here, I consider it bearish because the red pivot is still above all the other pivots. And I think, let's see, how far is it from, and again, it would be too close to the sessions here as well. So guys, just keep that in mind with the V1s. I still use the bias. So I'll put up the criteria here for the V1 variation. So the first step is always going to be confirm overall bias. Retail sentiment was bullish, fundamental bias is bearish, technical bias is bearish. 2 against 1, it's bearish. So I wouldn't take that for a V1 there. But I'll be looking for it to come back down because now we have a bearish, well, kind of bearish bias right here, bearish trend as well. So I'll be looking for the same thing, but to the downside. I'll look for price to come down. Something like this, Maddie. You know, provide some sort of high here. We get that structure. I just want a buy signal. The thing that I really want to look for here that I want to come up is a buy signal. Because once we have that buy signal, we can start looking for a sell, right? There's no pending signal here yet for the other direction. So we need to get that buy signal. Once we get the buy signal, we can start looking for some sells. Right, so we got another V1 pattern right here. If you want to take it as a V1 continuation, you can do that as well. So if you guys remember the V1s, there's two different ways to apply the V1. There's a regular V1 variation, which is the ideal way. You know, you're looking for the pending momentum. Or if you want to take the shortcut, which it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's the same strategy. It's just that you can trade in the direction of momentum that's already there. So you're kind of skipping a step. So it's not going to be the efficient strategy, but a lot of people like to take it and we just call that a continuation. All right. So now that price is kind of like, I mean, there's not really much going on. The ATR is currently 13 right now. It's still in this sideways movement. Here's a clean chart. You guys can see there's not too much going on here. So really, we just need a buy signal. Once we get that buy signal, I'll look for another V1 pattern, look for price to come down further, and hopefully lock in an entry. See, Barack is asking, so the retracement is complete if the current candle closes bullish. Sorry, Barack, I'm not sure what you're referring to. I just saw your question right now, so I don't know when you posted that. I wish YouTube had like a timestamp so I can see when you asked that question, but there's no timestamp on the YouTube. That's a good thing about the Zoom because the Zoom has a timestamp, so I can see where when people ask questions, and I can just pull back to it, but I don't see what you're referring to. All right, so we have a pending buy signal here. Starting to get some blocky candles. Still going back and forth. $6.29. Wait, $6.29, Brock? We weren't even live at $6.29. I think you mean $7.29, right? Right here. Yeah, because we were live at 6:30. See, I'm assuming you're talking about 6.29, right? Or 7.29. So you're asking, is the retracement complete? No, I don't think there was retracement here being complete yet because the trend hasn't confirmed. Until the trend is confirmed, there's no confirmation of like direction. So like there would be no correction for a buy yet because the pivots here never really crossed over. So if this red pivot over here, so you guys can see how the pivots are shifting, right? The pivot right here is above, like the red pivot. If this red pivot right here crossed below all of them, then you can confirm that it's shifting to the upside. But this right here was just retracement in the opposite direction. So price came down, it retraced up, and now it's correcting back to the downside. So I don't think there was any shift to the upside, not yet, until the pivots here have actually crossed over. The pivots here crossed back over to the sell side, so we're actually looking for, sells here instead. Gotcha. Yeah, it's all good, bro. I mean, it happens. Proc said that he took a quick FOMO move for 100 points, which was completely fine. I mean, if it fits your criteria, then it's okay, but it's all good. Kenny's asking if the momentum pullback scalp just hit. So let's see. I don't think there's any momentum pullback scalp here. Or actually, let me see. So the trend started to reconvene right here. You can see how the red pivot crossed above. And let's see what the levels were. So price pulled down below this point. Came back up. Yeah, I guess this would have been a momentum pullback scalp right here. I mean, I wouldn't have taken it because, well, actually, there's no momentum pullback scalp because the ATR is too low. The ATR has to be at least 15. The volatility is just way too low for us to take any entries here, or specifically. But the specifically for the momentum pullback scalp, the ATR would have to be at least 15 or above. So yeah, there'd be no momentum pullback scalp there. But if you're looking for the pattern, Kenny, that pattern there did get met. It was met. It was just the volatility is too low. So price came down right here. The trend here was established. The price pulled up. At this point, you'd have your sell stop right here or sell limit. Price would have filled it and would have went straight down. So this right here would have met criteria, but it wouldn't have been taken because of the ATR. And obviously, you can see how price is moving. I wouldn't have taken any momentum pullback scalps here to begin with anyways, because price is pretty much going back and forth sideways. So let's see. There's another setup right here. Same thing that we were looking at earlier. So the same setup that Maddie identified earlier with the V1 pattern. There was a buy there, and I think it pretty much hit. So this one over here was the first entry that came up. Down right there. It barely hit. This thing would have been running for like 10 minutes. I would have been tripping out, Maddie. If or actually Maddie already logged off. This is the trade that Maddie identified as a V1 pattern. And then it happened again right here. The only thing is that the bias here is so strong for a sell that I'm not really inclined to take any buys here. So another thing here's the structure. Actually, this candle right here just invalidated it, but technically this right here was a low. Let me go back real quick. Or actually, never mind, take that back, guys. I'm just seeing stuff here. Okay, I take that back. There's actually no other entry. It was just one that Maddie identified, but you can see from what I marked up here, that thing would have taken forever to hit for a V1. Oh man, this market sucks. I was really hoping to get at least one trade today. I mean, there's probably gonna be a trade that comes up later, like after 8 o'clock, but I'm not gonna force it. I was really hoping because I've been in a drought this whole week. Yesterday there was a trade that came up. I couldn't take it. This one right here came up. It was like such a perfect entry. I couldn't take it because my MT4 is kind of messed up. And then today there just hasn't been any entries. Reviewing the entire market for today, it was just, you guys can see how it moved. It wasn't very smooth at all. Price came down slightly. It ranged for a long period of time, came back up, ranged, and here it's just been ranging for like pretty much the entire session. There's been some pushes ups and down, but not exactly not exactly anything that's made anything worthwhile. Again, it's Trap Tuesday, so it's not exactly the best day to trade, but I'll hang out for a little bit longer. The trade might just come up eventually. I'm just going to keep waiting for it. But guys, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Again, if you guys didn't watch the mentoring session from yesterday, we went over some pretty deep examples. We went pretty in depth. If you guys want to view that, just go to our YouTube channel. So go to our website, kodikaitrades.com, click on get access to the YouTube right here. This will bring you to the YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/kodikaitrades. Go to mentoring sessions right here and view the most recent one right here from 16 hours ago on January 8th. This thing here pretty much covers everything that we were looking for today. Today's just not the day. There's just nothing coming up here, which is completely fine. You're going to have days like this where the market's not really doing anything. And days like this, you just got to wait. You got to be patient and you got to wait for your day to come, which can be tomorrow. Let's check the news for tomorrow real quick. So tomorrow we have some news events. Let's see. We have some low impact pre-market news. We have wholesale inventories month over month at 7, which is medium impact. We have crude oil stocks, medium impact, and then we have gasoline stocks. So crude oil, gasoline, and wholesale inventories tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock and 7:30. That's pretty much it. The big news comes on Thursday. So on Thursday, we have initial jobless claims, 4-week average, CPI inflation news. That's going to be big. Inflation rate month over month. Let's see. So they're forecasting inflation to go up. So inflation rate month over month, it was like 0.1%. Now they're going to 0.2, which is normal for a new year. We're going to a new year, so inflation is going up, of course. It's typical. And then that's about it. So a lot of inflation news on Thursday. So Thursday is like pretty much inflation day, Thursday and Friday. We have PPI month over month, producer price index, core PPI month over month, year over year, etc. And the Fed speaking on Friday. So basically tomorrow might be a little bit of a slow day again. Thursday is going to be super volatile and Friday is going to be volatile as well. But yeah, back to the charts, nothing here. Barack said, what if we had a chart like a journal spreadsheet of the unofficial trades that you call out? I mean, yeah, if you want to do that, Barack, you can do it. You're more than welcome to do anything. I'm not going to do it. That's so much work for me to review the videos and document and do all this stuff. Like, I'm not going to do it because I don't need to do it, right? I already know the trades are hitting. So I mean, the journaling would be good. I mean, for someone like you that's kind of unsure about what you're doing, right? Because the thing is, Brock, it's hard for you to like really be consistent unless like you're on the premium, right? Because you've been watching on the YouTube, so it's kind of hard for you to follow along. I mean, even with me answering your questions, it's kind of hard because I don't even know when your questions come up since you guys are delayed on the YouTube. So, I mean, if you want to do it, Brock, you can do it. I mean, you can be the person to have that responsibility to pretty much document all the unofficial trades because the unofficial trades pretty much hit. I mean, there's a good win rate for all the unofficial trades. The only time I journal trades is when I'm back testing. So when I'm back testing, forward testing. So if we have a new strategy and I don't see anything that kind of lines up, then in that situation, yeah, I would journal it. But I already know these strategies. Like this specific entry that we're taking, the breakout V3 continuation. If I use it with the confluence, odds of it hitting are very likely. Um, same with like say the V1 variations, right? So I mean, if you want to do it, you can do it, but there's no way I'm going to do that. That's way too much work because you'll see there's like almost 10 or 20 unofficial entries that come up. And for me to hold this live session, analyze, answer questions, take trades, open my MT4, draw stuff on my trading view, and then also you want me to do a spreadsheet? That's for sure not going to happen. That's that's way too much work on my end. But if you want to do it, that's completely fine. Let's see. Yeah, but Harwood said you need an assistant. I mean, Maddie's basically my assistant, but the thing is like for us to create a spreadsheet like that, that's beneficial for the person who actually needs it, right? Like we don't need that. Like I don't need it. You probably don't need it, Van Harwick, because you already know it's good. Maddie doesn't need it. I don't think a majority of people in the group need it. Yes, C6 said it's nothing he needs. So we don't really, if it was something that the entire group needed, like everyone's like, oh, I want you to document every single unofficial trade. Then okay, maybe we'll make an effort to do that. Or somebody that actually wants it would do it. But I don't think it's really of importance. Because the thing is, if we document all of the unofficial trades, then what happens? People are going to get FOMO, right? That's exactly what I'm trying to avoid. So the thing is, I'm trying to teach you guys to be focused and follow quality entries, not every single entry. So if we document every single entry, guess what? FOMO is going to go up. Everybody's going to want to take every single trade, even if they're not official, and then they're going to be mad about why they're not consistent. So, but yeah, no, Brock, I think also for you, like that's probably why you're not consistent at all, right? Because you'll have days where you're like having a lot of profits, and then there's going to be days where you're going to have like no profits at all, or you're going to have a big loss. Because you're taking every single trade. So exactly, yeah. Van Harwick said it'll dilute the result, which is the result is we're looking for high win rate, we're looking for consistency and discipline. But taking every single trade is not going to be, it's not going to be good for the group as a whole. Because the thing is, we're trading a negative risk reward. You can't take like 10 trades and lose like 5 trades, right? If you lose 5 trades, you're going to be super deep in the negative. Yeah, exactly. Vimal said we must learn not to trade all opportunities. Yeah, and I agree too. Anyways, guys, so we currently have a pending sell signal right here. If this sell signal closes, we might have an opportunity for a breakout V3 continuation. We have a V1 pattern right here. So this is kind of what I've been looking at. So I'm looking for a sell signal, and I'm looking for that sell signal to be followed by a red candle. Yeah, Barack said I'm asking that because I take most of them and I hit it right on the head. Yeah, no, I know that for sure, Barack. I know if you were to show me if you were to give me a whole list of like your trades for the month, I know there's going to be a lot of days where you're having a bunch of losses because there's no way that every trade is hitting, right? And that's it's not a good quality to have because if that was the case, I mean, if that was the case, Brock, and you were hitting like 5, 10, 20,000 a day, like every single day, like you've been posting, like you'd be a millionaire by now, right? So you just got to be real with yourself, right? I know you're making a lot of profit, Brock, but I know you're also making a lot of losses. So you just got to be real with yourself. Like I know you like to post the wins, but you got to also look at the losses, and you could avoid those losses if you just look to the quality entries versus all of them. Because I know everybody's in that kind of mindset where they see me look at these entries, I mark them up, I identify them, and you're like, oh, if Sean took every single trade, he'd be doing super well, right? But it doesn't work that well. It looks good from from a distance, but if you actually take every single trade that comes up, which is not really possible, right? Because there's so many entries that come up, you're going to find yourself in like a mess. Like, especially with FTMO, it's almost impossible to do with FTMO because you have to take such low risk. But from your profits, Brock, you're taking like huge lot sizes, and that's not possible. It's not possible with FTMO because you'll reach your daily loss limit basically almost every single day that you trade. So just keep that in mind, you know. And I would recommend journaling your trades, Brock, because if you journal your trades, I think you could pinpoint exactly where you're kind of making mistakes, and you can just avoid those losses. So when you do your challenge, you'll be able to pass, be funded, and make consistent profits every single day. The real thing here is just consistency. It's really consistency. Let's see. Nick said, anyone else remember the guy that joined it for a month and was like 50K in profit day steady? I think it was Kevin, right? I'm talking about Kevin. Kevin's still here. He's just on YouTube. He's not on the Zoom, but he messages his profits every so often. But yeah, Kevin's here. He's probably in YouTube right now. But yeah, every so often he'll post up his profits in the group. So the thing with Kevin is that he trades without a stop loss. So that's super, super risky. I mean, he knows how to trade that way, so he does it that way. Like, because he'll go into like some massive drawdown and then he'll just wait for it to come back in profit. So that's one way to trade, not one that I would necessarily recommend personally, but that is one way to trade if you want to trade that way. Yeah, Jonathan also mentioned consider red flags. Yeah, red flags are one of the main things too. There's just a lot of different things here that come into play. Yeah, no, Kevin said he's here. So Kevin just popped into the YouTube. Yeah, I figured Kevin was still there. Kevin said still here, still making profits. Yeah. So, I mean, like I was saying before, guys, there's no one way to trade. Kevin trades a certain way where he trades bounces off structure and then he doesn't use a stop loss most of the time, but they typically move in his favor because he trades with a bias. If that's how some people want to trade, then that's completely fine, right? Trade that way. For other people, it's a little like for me personally, I don't think I could ever trade without a stop loss. That's just too nerve-wracking for me. Plus, if I'm trading with FTMO, that's like instant daily loss requirement violated if you were to trade without a stop loss and a high lot size. But some people can do it. Some people have thick skin like Kevin, which I commend that for sure, to be able to do that every single day. All right, so we let's see. Nick's asking if I'm going to enter this if it comes up. So I'm going to wait to see how this candle closes. If this candle here keeps messing around and it doesn't actually close, because this is the thing, this pending sell signal has been pending for like the past 10 candles now, right? So if this here doesn't close, this is going to be my last go. If this here doesn't close, then I'm for sure not going to take it. And I'm just going to wrap it up for the day. Because if you keep seeing this appear and disappear like that, this just indicates that there's no consistency with momentum. And you can see right there, it just disappeared. Okay, so it actually closed. So, okay, I'll sit around for like a few more moments. I'll see if this here closes. If it closes, I'll possibly take it. I'm only going to take it if it's for sure going to close red, right? If it keeps changing between green and red, then I'm not going to even take it. I'm not going to bother. But if it closes red and it's for sure closing red, then I'll possibly look to take it here. The ATR is super low though, so that's one thing as well. So I'll probably wait until like the last maybe 20 seconds. I'll see how it looks. If this is like for sure a red candle, then I'll take it. But if it's not, then I'm just going to wrap it up. Looks like it's not going to. It's just going to swing back up. All right. So typical trap Tuesday here, guys. There's no entry. As you can see, this candle is definitely not closing red. And I'm going to wrap this up for the day. So unfortunately, another day with no trades, guys. Or for me personally, there's no trades for me. There was one trade yesterday, but no trades for me today. There's a couple opportunities that showed up, but they weren't official entries. So I'm not going to count them as official wins for the day. So again, today's going to be counted as no trades. But again, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to reach out. I think this is the longest we've sat on this live session, waiting for an entry. And unfortunately, there's just nothing here for us to take. So, all right, guys, if you guys have any questions, reach out. Otherwise, we'll be back here again, same place, same time tomorrow. Hopefully a better market, which is kind of what I'm expecting. It's just slow today. I think it's going to pick back up tomorrow because we're going to have some more inflation news coming out on Thursday, Friday, and we'll just see how the market goes. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. If there's any questions, reach out. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the